Slocky. This is B part 2, finishing up this video here for the small hats continuously stirring the pot. Ran out of storage on my last video, so I have enough now. But so we was reading here in Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 45, because verse 49, chapter 49, and verse 20, and Jeremiah 50 and 45 have the exact same wording, because Edom and Babylon, they're one and the same. And this is parabolically speaking about the so-called white race and the little hats in this in particular here. So Jeremiah 50 and 45, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh and the name Yahushai that he hath taken against Babylon. That's America. And his purposes, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. And the Chaldeans are the sorcerers, those that divine and practice witchcraft and sorcery. Because pharmacy goes back to the Greek word pharmakia, which means sorcery or witchcraft. And that's part of their sorcery, is their medicine, and then the false doctrines, and they own Hollywood, which which falsely indoctrinates all of this society, with their movies. So they're the modern day Chaldeans, the little hats, the so-called, those little hats over there. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and they're the least of the flock. They're the smallest, and they're defended heavily by the whore America, Babylon the Great. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So they're going to become desolate ultimately over there, because it's the will of the Most High. So in verse 46, at the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. And that's spoken about too, in Revelation. The smoke of her going up, because ultimately the whore has to defend and protect the little hats over there, because they're real small, right? And they're surrounded by enemies that they've been doing all kind of unsavory, illegal acts against, and now they're drawing out all of the Arabs, and they're linking up, and they're becoming allies. They're strengthening their Arab ties together to come up against these little hats. Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Iranians coming closer and closer together, and so it's just going to continue to further escalate. And so we'll get Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. So Ashdod, that's landmass that the little hats are occupying today. And then the Philistines, and that's going to the modern day Philistines. The translation or whatever for Philistine today is Palestine. So who's calling themselves Palestinians? The Arabs. All of them are going to be cut off because they're in our land with the false names, stolen identities, and stolen land. Joel 3 and 2. I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shabbat, that's Yahweh's judgment, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. See, that's Deuteronomy 28:68, that we will go into slavery again with ships, because the Jewish, they funded the whole operation of us getting rounded up by the Hamites, aka Africans over there on the west coast of Africa, and help the European round us up on slave ships and take us across. And the Arabs, they're the ones that had built those slave ships. So it's real heavy on what, it was a orchestrated team effort of heathen that all had their hand in rounding us up over there off the west coast of Africa and sent us on slave ships over here to the Western Hemisphere. And so we was on the Western Hemisphere of Africa. We was on the west coast of Africa because we settled over there we migrated throughout Africa and landed and settled on the west coast of Africa because In 70 AD, what happened? The Roman armies compassed Jerusalem about in 70 AD. Around 66 to 73 AD, you can look it up. It's referred to as the Roman Jewish Wars. It's not no Jewish though, the Roman Jew War. Roman Jews Wars, however you want to say that, right? And then 70 AD is when the Roman army destroyed destroyed us as a state and as a nation, destroyed the temple. And Yahushua had prophesied, said, when you see the Roman armies compass round about, flee to the mountains. And those mountains reference, heading to Africa. And that was one of our key flight patterns, to go ahead and flee into Africa. Like, when Joseph and Mary fled into Africa to get away from Herod, the so-called great, trying to kill Yahushua as a child, right? As a baby, as an infant. And so we fled into Africa in 70 AD, and we settled and landed and on the west coast of Africa. And then about 1,500 years later, you had the Europeans rounding us up with the Hamites, so-called Africans, and sent us into that slave trade. And then so our land was, has been empty, has been desolate. And then the heathen gone in there, and they occupied our land. That's how they parted the land. They scattered us throughout the four corners, through slavery. And then they parted the land, and they now occupy our landmass over there in Jerusalem, the Holy Land. So Obadiah 1 and verse 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. And what's a confederacy? It's a union, it's a pact, that they make, a treaty together. That's the European Union and NATO. That's their confederacy, right? The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. And how they eat their bread? Economic, economic treaty together. There is none understanding in him. So that's what the 10 horns, the NATO and EU. That's what they're about to do to the whore. And also the little hats, they're going to be destroyed as well. And the little hats are the ones that's contributing to NATO and them beginning to hate America, because America just blindly follows everything that little hats do. And they're stirring up nothing but strife and war. So Revelation 17 or 6? No, that's not it. Maybe it's 16. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Revelation 17 and 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. So, and verse 17, for Yahweh, in the name Yahushua, hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Yahweh, in the name Yahushua, shall be fulfilled. So you see, the European Union and NATO, they basically gave their kingdom unto the whore, America, because they went to that pact together, right? Through the Treaty of Paris, the Treaty of Rome. And then that's the 10 horns that's on the 7 heads of the beast. That's the modern union in these last days. And so because America is the head of that, and they are in bed with European Union, in the bed with them, right? And for their economic survival over there in the east, over there in Europe, and so they decided to give, to link up with America for a season, because it was the Most High's will for that to happen. And then to the Most High, words be fulfilled. And what's that? The prophecies and everything. And now the union is now almost over with, because now British is speaking out against the Israelis, telling them to go ahead and stop all of this war. stop escalating everything over there. But that's biblical prophecy of them stirring the pot, drawing out the least of the flock, drawing everyone out. And then that's going to be, and that's aiding in them hating the whore, because the whore, America is just only going to, they're closely tied together. They don't care about nothing else but defending the little hats. And then its allies are going to begin to hate the whore because of that as well. That's one of the many reasons, you know, because they're dragging the 10 horns, NATO and the EU, into all these wars, you know, because of their madness that they're starting and stirring up. So, you know, and that's just biblical prophecy. So that's an update for World War III. So I hope this video was edifying. The word is Dash Basham Yahushai for another video. The next video I say, Shalom.